My name is Kellen Joseph. My Indian name was Outni Waptis. My godmother gave me the name as the men are making feathers for the sun because she was the member of the Sun clan. She gave me that name, so I took that name and translated it into the Umatilla language, which is Outni Waptis.
My name is Lorassa Joseph. I'm an enrolled tribal member of the Navajo Nation. My clans are Twitich Eatninchle, Lasha Bashashin, Lizaflanishache, Maidishkishishanala. In translation, that means I am Bitterwater, born for the Red Bottom Feet clan. Kellen and I have a healthy relationship, beautiful marriage, a wonderful home, and beautiful children. But it hasn't always been like that.
I was born in 1980 in the small town of Keams Canyon, Arizona. The only thing that I could do as a young child here on the res was play basketball. And the term came, basketball was life, and that's what it was. It was my life. It was something that I've always just did from the sun up to sundown. It was my avenue out. I didn't have a father like there to answer questions or help guide me, let alone even uncles or any kind of like a father figure. I was mainly raised by females, my mom and my grandmother. There may have been some things that a father can only teach a son. And to me, I think I missed some of that. I believe anger settled in. I didn't know how to control it.
Growing up, my dad and I were very, very connected. I was daddy's girl. I did everything with my dad. I traveled with my dad. We went to ceremonies together. I was brought up in the Native American church way. We go into the teepee overnight. There's a fireplace in there. We all sit around, just singing, praying. My dad taught me how to pray. My dad taught me how to be resilient. My dad taught me how sacred I was. He taught me a lot of wonderful things. And I think the hard part right now is that I don't have that connection with my dad right now. I pray a lot that we could have that connection that we used to have.
I started drinking when I was 14 years old. Alcohol was there to numb the feeling of what was important to me. I kind of like threw away everything I learned for a while with alcohol.
I think about the age of 20, 21, I started experimenting with drugs and partying, and my first taste of it, I believe, was probably cocaine. And it was just, it made the party go longer, it made me stay up longer. Started hanging out with the wrong crowds, and then eventually somebody introduced me to meth. I
was drinking all the time, and I just felt like I was lost. And that's what my father said. He said that I would call him when I was 16, 17 years old, and he would tell me, he goes, yeah, you don't believe in nothing. That's why you're lost, and you need to start believing. It
took away all the pain that I was feeling from pushing my kids away, not having that connection with my family anymore, and pretty much not having a connection with anything. I didn't have a connection with my creator. I didn't have a connection with my dad. And I always thought about the things that my dad used to tell me was, you're a sacred people. I overdosed on heroin. Exactly 4 days after that first time that I've overdosed, I found myself in the same situation. I had overdosed again. That's when I knew I needed to call my dad and let him know my little secret.
I seemed like I lost respect for not only my surroundings, but most importantly, I lost respect for myself. I made the decision to find out who my dad was, and to me that was important.
He answered on the first ring, and I just told him, I said, Dad, it's me. And I said, I have something to tell you, and it's horrible. And he got quiet, and he did one of his and I told him, I said, I'm addicted to heroin. And I told him, I said, I just overdosed 2 times in the past week, and I need help. I said, I don't know what else to do, who else to call. I said, life is not good right now, and I need to get away from this place. I need to get away from these people. And my dad said, I will be on the road here shortly, 16-hour drive from Arizona, and he was there, and exactly 16 hours later.
At the time I was living with him, I was like getting to know who my father was and learning the culture, and it just seemed to help me learn what I was missing out on at a younger age. And so in 2011, cancer took his life.
We packed as much stuff as we could into his little car. I let my landlord know that I was leaving and that I would hopefully be back in a month, and got on the road. And that was probably the worst drive of my life. What you see in TVs, what you see on the movies, you know, people rolling around on the ground screaming, kicking, scratching, cold, sweaty, hot, warm, all of those horrible moments came to life for me.
I showed up to my brother's house where my mom was holding the ceremony. It lasted for about 2-3 hours. People getting up, testimony, singing, giving a testimony of praying. I finally talked to my mom, and she invited me back to the house, and I went to sleep.
My dad arranged a ceremony for me. It's called the crystal gazing ceremony, and they turn off the lights. They pray and they pray, and it's so powerful that the medicine man can go outside and he can rearrange your stars for you. He can rearrange your future.
Either spirits came or something, but I just woke up without even thinking about drinking anymore. It was kind of like prayers.
The big part of it is you have to believe. You have to believe in this way, or it's not going to help you.
Ever since then, I just never drank. It wasn't that I chose to, it was more like I just didn't want to anymore. It was like, I just don't want to drink today.
The ceremony is what I believe was the key to my recovery.
I remembered everything that I learned, not only from my mom, but my father.
I felt like I was a new person. I ended up coming back here to Pendleton after 3 years of being in Arizona, of getting clean and sober.
Somewhere our paths were crossing since we were born. My wife was born in the exact same place 9 months before me.
We reached out to each other on social media. He was back here working at Yellowhawk, and I was just up the road staying with my kids' grandma, and we just kind of started eating lunch together. I'd bring him the best sandwiches, and pretty much the rest is history after that.
We share a daughter. We have combined family. She has 3 daughters from a previous relationship. I have 2 kids from my previous relationship. We just seem to mesh very well.
I knew what I needed to do, and I knew it was going to be hard work, and I did it.
Alcohol really did take so much away from me. To battle out of it, it was tough.
We had a long journey. We've had to rebuild trust. We had to get to know each other again. We had to figure out how we were going to move forward. My family, they are my inspiration to be my best, to do my best. Kellen's mom, Lynn Sue, she's been an amazing inspiration to me in my life.
Ever since my mom held the ceremony for my dad's funeral, she's been a huge support for me and my family. She's helped us in so many ways. She's really stepped up and helped both Lorassa and I because it's a life that she's recovering from as well.
She definitely shows us the way, and she shows us that recovery can be done.
When I learned to believe, pray, the smudging was cleansing. It opened up new doors.
One of his dreams was he wanted to dance, and he wanted to get an outfit together, and that was one of his dreams. So I always said, well, why don't you? Why don't we do that?